guys, Mr. Mackey here. Now yesterday we were looking at trapeziums and I set you this challenge to find the areas of these trapeziums and then figure out which one had the bigger area. I also asked you that for one of these two trapeziums, use the formula I gave you yesterday, and for the other trapezium, use a formula I've used before with compound shapes. So I'm going to use the formula I gave you yesterday for this trapezium. So what we do is we add 12 and 8 together. That gets you 20. You multiply that 20 by 6, that gets you 120. Then you divide that 120 by 2. So you get an area of 60 meters squared. Now let's work out the area of this one, and we're going to use the method that compound work for. Now, we split into two shapes. We have a rectangle here and we have a triangle here. The rectangle has a base of 5 and a height of 9, so we times them together to get 45 meters squared. And for this one, we've got a base of 10 because that takes up half it, that takes up the other part. So we have a base of 5 meters squared, or 5 meters. I have a height of 9, so we multiply them together. 5 times 9 gets you 45, but we halve it because it's a triangle. So it's 22.5 meters squared. Triangle, remember. Then we have to add them together. So the area of this trapezium is 67.5 meters squared. So this trapezium, or B, is bigger. Now if you did it the other way round and you used the compound shapes for this one and the formula for this one, you'll get the exact same answers that I did. I'm just giving you more than one option. So if you do struggle with understanding this formula, you can use the compound shapes method. But if you struggle to understand the compound shapes method for trapeziums, you can use the formula I gave you. It's good to have more than one option. Now we're going to move away from trapeziums. We're going to be focusing on a shape that I haven't covered at all in these 2 weeks, but they're also one of the most common shapes out there. Do you have any idea which shape it could be? Yes, that's right. We're going to be looking at circles. Now, circles are a little bit different because they're not polygons. Because remember, polygons are shapes where they have straight sides and they always close. This circle does close, but the sides aren't straight. They're round. Now, this is the diameter of a circle, which means if it's basically the halfway point, it goes from one end of the circle to the other. That's the diameter. Now, the actual side of a circle, what goes round, is known as the circumference. The circumference is the equivalent of the perimeter of a shape because it's how much is outside the circle. Now today, we're going to be finding the circumference of circles. Now for this, we're going to need two things. Firstly, you're going to need your calculators for this because they are so important, especially for today. And secondly, we're going to be needing a Greek letter. Now, Greek letters, they still are used nowadays. I'm sure you've probably heard of the word alpha, beta, delta. You might have heard them if you've played army games. You might have heard them being used as squads. Well, they are all actually Greek letters. Alpha looks like this. Beta looks like that. There's also gamma, which looks like that. There's loads of Greek letters out there. Have you heard or seen this Greek letter before? Do you know what this Greek letter's called? Take a guess. Yes, this Greek letter is called pi. I've just eaten, so don't worry. I don't feel hungry thinking about it. I recommend maybe you eat before you watch this because I'll be saying the word pi a lot and I don't want you to get starving and distract yourselves. Now, pi is a Greek letter, and pi is used especially when finding circumferences and areas of circles. But we won't be focusing on areas today. Now, all you need to do to work out the circumference of a circle is you multiply our diameter, whatever our diameter is, by pi. That's all you have to do. So, to find the circumference, which in this case I'll put as C, you do pi times the diameter. Let's now do an example to show you what I mean. So I have a diameter of 8 centimetres and I want to find the circumference from that. Now, whenever you're given questions like this, you'll be asked to leave it in one of two ways. You would either be asked to leave it in terms of pi, which we'll do for this question, or you'd leave it to 2 decimal places or other decimal places, which we'll do in the next question. So don't worry about that for now. In this one, we're going to leave it in terms of pi. Now, let me show you how we can find it via a calculator. Now, when you get your calculator, let's firstly find what pi is. So what you first do is you press your shift button at the top, and once you press that, go all the way down to the times 10 to the power of x button down here. It's between the point and the A and S for answer. When you press that, you will find pi. The symbol, that is, not actual food. Sorry, don't mean to keep reminding you. Now, once you've found pi, you multiply that by our diameter, which is 8. So you multiply them, and what do you get? You get 8 pi. It's like algebra. That is leaving your answer in terms of pi. So, the answer we'd write in this case, our circumference, is 8 pi centimetres. We don't write it in centimetres squared because we're not finding the area. We're finding the circumference, which is the same as perimeter. You wouldn't write centimetres squared for perimeter. You write it as just centimetres. So you do it exactly the same. Just treat it as if it's a perimeter question, except you're not adding any sides because you've only got one side. But the answer is 8 pi centimetres. And that's how you leave your answer in terms of pi. Let's try another one. Now for this one, I want to find it in terms to 2 decimal places. So we are definitely going to need our calculators for this. So I have a diameter of 6.5 centimetres. So we find our pi, so we press shift and this button to find pi. Then you times it by 6.5. And then you will get 13 over 2 pi, 6.5 pi. Like the previous one with 8 pi. Now what you've got to do is you've got to press the S to D on here, which means standard to decimal. When you press that, you will get 20.420352225. But I asked you to do it to 2 decimal places. So what we actually write is 20.42 centimetres. The question will make it clear what form you leave it in. If it doesn't make it clear, then you just choose one of the 2. But if it says leave it in terms of pi, you just enter it in the calculator and the answer the calculator gives you, you write it. But if it says leave it to 2 decimal places, you do exactly the same thing, but you just press the S and D. Hope that makes sense. So here is your challenge for today. Now I have quite a circular garden and it has been quite windy over the weekend. As a result, my fence has fallen down. Now because of this, I want to buy a new fence. And they are quite expensive. If I wanted 5 metres of fencing, it costs me 20 quid. Now, my garden has a diameter of 10 metres. How much will it cost me to fence my whole garden? That's your challenge. I'm really intrigued how you're going to solve this. Good luck, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.